Hey there, my name is Elena, and if there's one thing I'd really love for you to gain from this conversation, it's to know that the recipe to creating your very best life is by taking control of your emotional well-being. So what does it actually mean to take control of your own emotional well-being? I think it's mainly becoming the observer of your emotions. So we can get caught up in our day and not even notice the emotional ride that we've been taken on. And if something upsetting happens, if there's a situation that occurred or a person says something or does something, and we dive into a negative emotion, but we don't process our way through it, we end up carrying that emotion with us. And as law of attraction would have it, it continues to attract situations and people that amplify that unprocessed emotion. Did you ever notice if something comes up or you think about something and it causes you to get a hit of that negative emotion, that your tendency might be to look for a way to escape it? We grab a glass of wine or we grab our phone and get soaked into social media, or we do some online shopping, or all of these addictive behaviors that we've learned to program ourselves to go to instead of feeling that discomfort. So as we become aware of our emotions, we're going to notice when we dip down to those lower frequency feelings like grief and shame and anger and despair. And when we catch ourselves in that space and we consciously do something to elevate the frequency of our emotional well-being, that's what I'm talking about with becoming the observer and then taking action steps to create a better feeling space within you. So this really has to become a practice because it's very easy to slip through life not really paying attention to the emotions that are coming up. We often will just react to everything, and we can also really become absorbed in the emotion and almost identify as the emotion. We can say things like, I am so mad, or I am depressed. And it's almost like at a cellular level, we become that emotion. We walk around as the angry person or as the depressed person. And all of our thoughts and actions are stemming from that place of identifying as the emotion of anger or depression or sadness. So instead, I invite you to take a look at your emotions as energy. So take the label off of it. So instead of feeling really angry and thinking, I'm so angry right now, kind of separate yourself from that emotion and see it as the energy and tune into your body. So the mind-body connection is part of the magic. As soon as you start to just notice how that emotion, how that energy is feeling in your body, and just give it a description. It's tightness, it's a knot in my stomach, it's a dry throat. Just start to become aware of how that emotion feels in your body. And that's the first step to being able to release it. Because a lot of us, when we feel anything uncomfortable, we tend to want to run away. We tend to want to distract ourselves from having to sit there and feel it. And some of those emotions are just not easy to feel. So like I said, it's a practice. You can be kind and gentle to yourself as you first become aware of what you're feeling. And then ease into the idea of creating a sacred space for you to just sit with the physical feelings of that energy. And without having to analyze it, without having to make it hard or a struggle, it can become effortless to actually process through those emotions. Because feelings are meant to be felt, and feelings are also meant to be moving. So when we hold on to these feelings that we don't want to process through, we don't want to feel, we don't want to face, it stops the energy. And that blocked energy inside of us eventually can manifest into all kinds of things like disease or illness or pain. So again, that mind-body connection is always in play together. So instead of holding on to that emotion, it's because we're not meant to be a container for our emotions. We're meant to be the conduit so that we can move that energy through us. And by feeling the whole gamut of emotions is what brings the richness and the fulfillment to our life. In the moment of those lower frequency emotions, it might not be fun and we might not understand the meaning behind it. But I think it's just the jumping off point for us to get to its opposite. And when we feel the opposite of that lower vibration is when we can fully appreciate the feelings of all of those emotions on the higher end of the spectrum, like excitement and love and joy and bliss. So you may have seen my other videos and noticed that I love tapping. I love emotional freedom techniques. It's acupressure without the needles. We're just tapping on meridian points on our body, and this sends a signal to the brain to deactivate the stress mode. So the physiological reaction is that it relaxes the body. And as soon as your body relaxes, your mind can start to see things differently because there's a disconnect between your mind firing off the stress response and your body not feeling that stress. So as you become more aware of your feelings and make it a priority to feel good, there's nothing more important than feeling good. You can use tapping as your tool to move yourself up the emotional scale. So first, become aware. Say, yeah, I'm feeling this disappointment, or I'm feeling this frustration, or I'm feeling lonely. Just notice it. And then as you're tapping, and you can watch my other videos to find out the tapping points, just sit quietly with yourself as you're tapping through the points, and you'll notice that your body starts to relax and your mind starts to see things in a different light. Your perspective starts to change. And as your perspective starts to change, your emotions start to change. And that's really how you dissipate the negative energy within you. So as an example, you can just follow along with me right now. Let's say I'm feeling super stressed or I'm really, really agitated. And I can just close my eyes for a second, take a deep breath. So do this with me. And just settle into your body. And as you're feeling agitated, start to listen to those thoughts that are connected to that agitation. And then bring your awareness into your body and notice what's happening. Maybe your muscles are really tense in your legs, or you're clenching your fists, or you're clenching your jaw. And just notice this is the energy of that agitation settling in the body. So as you tap, you don't even need to say anything. You don't need to use any words. You can just close your eyes, go inward, keep tapping on the points, get quiet, move your attention into the body and start to just follow the energy. Just notice where it's showing up and how it's being expressed, how it feels on a physical level. Just keep tapping through the points and notice that your body might start to relax. You might feel a big sigh or a yawn. This is what happens as the energy moves within you, as you start to unblock some of those stuck emotions. It's all about the attention, just listening and noticing. That's when we're connecting with our higher source. So another thing with emotion is, I believe it's the communication tool from your higher source. So it's your inner guidance. When something doesn't feel good, that's probably an indication that how you're looking at it is very different from how your higher source is looking at it. So either you can change your perspective, so change your thoughts and your beliefs around that subject, or you can use it as a way to just follow inspired action. So just continually feel Does this choice feel good for me, or does it create an uneasy feeling inside? And just use your feelings as a way to connect to your higher source, because your true self is always leading you to your best life. And your feelings are the indicator of what is best for your next move. So the more that you pay attention to those negative feelings, and instead of running away from them or hiding them or just carrying them along for the ride so that they get bigger and bigger, just catch when you're feeling them. I suggest tapping, breathing, meditating. Get yourself to be comfortable in the discomfort and just be easy on yourself. Let it be a practice. Don't judge yourself. Just sit with your body and the energy in your body. And in that way, you're going to process through these emotions. You don't have to change anything outside of yourself. You don't have to get that person to change, or you don't have to wish for a different past. Life happened and you felt your way through it. And now, instead of holding on to the negative feelings, you can process through them and let them start moving and making room for something much better. So if you found this video helpful, you can share it with a friend so that we can all adopt this practice of moving through our emotions and feeling safe while we do it. Thanks for watching.